All right, we're here week 3 of Outlaws Thunder Junction Arena Gauntlet League, and we got our feature matches for the week. We got, first of all, we got Dirk here, all the way from Germany once again. Much like we had somebody staying up late last week, he's staying up late with us tonight over in Europe for the feature match. Up against Adam S., one of our regulars here in the feature match. And we're about to find out what's going on in his hand over there.
So, the preface with what's in Dirk's hand, and we got to preface that Dirk has promised to put on a show and take down Adam by any means necessary.
There's definitely been
But
some
anyway,
trash talking going on throughout the day. Yeah,
oh, there has been a lot. So I'll be spectating Adam. You see Adam toss down the Mirage, made it a plains. He's got a forest, the train Eric's, snakeskin veil, feet of resistance, the pixie who picks something up and gets a counter if you do, and then
okay.
a tornado and a getaway glamour just drawn for turn. What's the champ over there working with?
Well, he's not quite the champ yet, but he's working on it here. He did have to take a mulligan and only has 2 lands here, so but he has a couple of Black Snag Buzzards in hand, as well as Longhorn Sharpshooter, Pillage the Bog, and a Harvester of Misery, which is that big score 5-drop that gives -2 to everything. I can say I at least have a bit of insight about his deck. Um, I know he's playing a Rakdos deck with a few green cards in it, so uh, we'll see how it works out. He actually, funnily enough, he asked me for some advice on deck building the other day. Um,
Madman, absolute
and
madman.
normally, I just usually people either don't ask me or I just don't really have that much to contribute because I just basically try and play like the safest, most conservative deck that you could find that's not going to be too risky. And I was like, I don't know if I'm going to be of too much help. He said, well, I need somebody to reel me in. So he actually said he wanted to go a bit more conservative. So um, we landed on this black red deck with there's still a few green cards in there. There's probably a couple more green cards than I would have put in, but they are impactful. So we'll see how this runs. But I know he's trying to go under a lot of the green decks by being a bit more aggressive and assertive, which without all those lands is going to be a bit of a problem here.
I
Um,
mean, it might be a little tough. That train Irons was kind of his game plan for quite some time with the free ways to protect it,
yeah,
but having it killed is not going to bode too well for him currently.
yeah, and this 1/1 flyer is not looking amazing either. I mean, I guess it looks pretty good in the face of a 2/1 flyer, but
Yeah, I mean, he has a tornado, so he's going to decide just to kill it here. He did want to cycle it, but this is just the perfect target now.
yeah. All right. So you did say you did have some protection spells in hand, right? Take up the shield.
Yes, yes, he has take up not take up the shield, feet of resistance, and
Oh, feet of
snakeskin along with
resistance. Yeah.
a getaway glamour. He just drew the fortune loyal steed though, which could help him out here. Huh. I didn't realize that you guys put some blue in the deck, unless that's Adam's own doing.
Who Adam's doing?
There is an island that he's going to keep
Oh,
on
I
top
didn't
of
look
your
at.
deck.
It wasn't Adam that was asking me for pointers over there.
Okay, okay.
It was
My
Dirk the
mind
other
was
day.
confused for a second. I was like, wait, Adam reeled in?
Yeah,
Wow.
he said no.
That
Like
was what he said?
I was doing a draft, and then we finished up, and he's like, "Want to take a look at my league deck?" And I'm like, usually people don't ask me, or I don't have that much to contribute. I'm not really like huge on like deck building or things like that. But you know, I did make some suggestions. He was originally running a green black deck with a red splash, and then I said most of the power of your green cards lies in your Golgari gold cards. So why don't just put those in your red black deck, and he gets to play his 2 copies of his Akul. That's the black, black, red, red, 5/5 demon.
Does he have the other, either a mountain or a swamp in case he draws or has it?
Well, not yet. He has in hand. He has the pillage, the bog from earlier, Harvester of Misery, Black Snag Buzzard. Those are all the same cards as he had before, and a Kervek the Punisher, which I believe he has 2 copies of. So that's a fun one. If you can get it going, it's a fun one.
Yeah, card's kind of a kill on sight normally before it gets too out of hand, depending on what's in the graveyard.
Yeah, because that one's not capped at once a turn, and he has a lot of cheap black spells to go with. He does have 2 of them, so he did play, a bunch of cheap black spells that cost 2 mana.
Yeah, I think in the yard there's already what a deserts do.
Yep, there's already a Desert Stew and a Black Snag Buzzard in the graveyard. So
Actually, probably gonna be good for Adam because he's probably gonna fire off the getaway glamour here. I would think, unless he's gonna hold it. But I would think you want to use your mana here and just get rid of the Karavak, and then
Yeah.
get another Scry off the. Okay,
No.
never
Okay.
mind.
He said, you know what? I'm good. Let's just keep plugging along here. I'm not that scared of the Karavek yet. So what the Karavek could do with the cards he has in hand is he could he could I guess discard the Harvester of Misery to give something -2/-2, and then cast the Desert Stew, but that doesn't seem that exciting.
It feels so weird. He's gonna try and do it now.
Okay, I wonder why not on end step, but okay.
I'm not sure if maybe he thought for a second there might be a snakeskin veil there. See, look, you see him hovering over it.
Yeah,
Like the thought's always in your mind. You see one green up, and you go, "Oh God, it's got to be a snakeskin, doesn't it?" But I mean, I think you still go for it here, right?
I mean, I did. I mean, that exact thing happened today, and it was a snake skin down. I just had to work through it. I just had to play as if they didn't have it and work through it.
It's kind of like
But
playing against a blue player, right? Like sometimes you think they have it, but sometimes your hand just needs to play into it. Like if they have, it, they have it. If they don't, we're highly rewarded here. Regardless, though, if you do nothing, they just draw cards and there's something else, right?
all right, so we got an honest Rutstein drawn for turn, which is another one of his green cards. So he definitely does not have Snakeskin Venom in the deck. Green is his. I think he's got about 5 green cards. So if you want to call it a splash or a third color, so no Snakeskin Venom to be had. But he has drawn an honest Rutstein, which this card is just one of the best Gravediggers I've ever seen.
The fact that it also cheapens the creature is even better. Now, granted,
Yeah,
good thing he can cast.
this is like another card that I would say like this could have just been a rare a few years back. You could just printed this as is, rare, no changes at all, and it would have been like excellent.
I'm trying to remember. Do you remember what the saddle cost on the steed is? Is it 2 or 3?
I believe it's 2, and well, that's a good thing to saddle up with.
Oh yes. Luckily, the Rustine's the only thing I can block. I mean, like this is wonderful. You
That's
even get the
a
sky and then
yeah,
get the draw.
that's a 2/2 that draws a card. I'm a fan. I'm
Where
a
does this
fan.
rank on the Cloud Blazer Index?
I mean, it's a 2/2 that draws a card, so there you go.
With the help of another buddy, though.
All right, so here we are. Um, okay, I think from what I remembered from playing Fortune, you get the other creature's trigger first. He must have turned off the auto stack ability in order to get that. Because I remember I did it one time with like a Vault Plunderer, and I wanted to scry first, and I drew first. I mean, I still got to draw a card and scry, but just not in the exact order that I was wanting it.
Yeah, I mean, it didn't even like give him. From what I saw, it didn't look like he could stack triggers. So it just popped up that way.
Oh, okay,
But I could be wrong. I could be wrong.
okay. All I know is that I did it, and it didn't go in the order that I wanted. But I mean, it's still good value.
He scryed a giant beaver, one of the best green cards, and a Miriam to the
Okay.
top through the Miriam. So giant beaver be the next draw. He'll hold up a feat of resistance. I'm not sure. I can't think he even tries to block here. Probably just takes it.
Yeah, so interesting that Feat of Resistance actually protects against like something like a Desert Stew, where Take Up the Shield doesn't necessarily. So it's a you know it's similar type of spell, but has different applications. You can also just use Feat of Resistance to get in lethal damage, like once in a while. So he's
Ooh.
gonna actually discard the Harvester of Misery here, which is going to trigger Knife Point, and I guess he's not gonna get the -2/-2 here though.
He's thinking about it. Of course, he should fight off though. Positive. This force is going to put in some work.
Yeah, Feat of Resistance. You must have got that from M21, since sadly we're not allowed to open packs of Cons of Tarkir.
Now, here's the interesting thing, though, right? Like, your fortune now has a counter on it. By blinking it, you lose the counter. But at the same time, you really want to get those triggers in, right?
Yeah, well, I think having it be a 3/5 is pretty good on this board.
Yeah.
I
I mean,
think
it
it's a
just pretty
little
much
I think
walls
it's a little
everything.
too good to pass up.
Yeah, it walls everything, and then you have a snakeskin veil to keep it alive.
Yeah, it's just crazy that they put both Take Up the Shield and Snakeskin Veil in the same set, and they both give permanent counters rather than just end of turn buffs. They just said
Right.
we want green white creatures to live.
I mean, it's really good, right? For especially for the green white deck. But Adam's thinking a little right here, just because. So if he plays the Beaver or the Miriam, he's going to be tapped out of black or green, which means he can't hold the
Well,
Junction.
the Llanowar Visionary makes green also.
Does it? You know what? I haven't seen this card in so long. M21 is great. I'm sorry to anyone I have doubted. The card is wonderful. It does more than just draw a card.
You know, honestly, almost every M21 pack I've seen, I'm like, yeah, that pack's fine. like, there's brash taunters getting opened up everywhere. Somebody cast Sublime Epiphany against me yesterday. It was a good time. M21, maybe a little. I don't know why that made it in above the other core sets, but that one's definitely been underrated even to now. So now he gets to
Isn't it?
cast. Now he gets to do one of my favorite things, which is I joke I call it demonic tutor in 60 card format. Not as you're not digging as many cards into your deck, but looking at the top 12 is pretty good.
Honestly, really is. Anything good in there?
He's got he's got a few options. He's got another green card in there, Mantle of the Wolf, which is an aura from Theros. It gives a creature +4/+4, and then when the aura goes away, you get two wolves, two twos.
That's pretty
Um,
good.
he's also looking at Timoret, which was also from Theros Beyond Death,
Oh, that sounds good with Karavec.
the devotion guy that can exile cards from graveyards.
Oh yeah, that's a crime, isn't it?
Oh yeah, yep. I think those are his considerations. There's also Thunder Salvo if he wants removal. But it doesn't really kill what he wants to kill. He's going to take the Timoret here. He is a little choked on black mana to make use of the ability. It costs 2 black mana to cast, and then 1 and a black to exile up to 2 cards from a graveyard, and you gain a life for every creature exiled.
I mean, this might be the little break that Adam needed, honestly. If Dirk was able to break this board right now, it wouldn't really get much better for Adam. But not being able to break it does wonderful things for him.
No, Dirk did find like one of his heavy hitters, but like honestly, the reason why we settled on this deck with a little bit of a cheaper curve and a more assertive vision is because he doesn't have as many of the heavy hitters. Doesn't have access to as many heavy hitters
Are you
as a lot
saying
of
a
other
five
people.
five for four isn't a heavy hitter?
Oh yeah, no, that's great, but he doesn't have like these crazy cards that just come into play and you know make
Kind of take
a
over.
who knows. Yeah, like I mean, Karavec can take over, but it requires a lot of things to go right around it, right? Like you need to have the crimes, and you need to have the stuff in your graveyard, you need to have enough mana and all that. But it can be an engine, but it needs a bit of work to get started.
Oh, you're not
Don't
wrong.
say
I was
something.
laughing. So, did someone say something, or was that you, Rich?
Is there something frozen? Is the game?
Thing about his deck.
Sorry, is there something wrong going on here? Is everything working
Let me,
properly? Or
let me message. I thought I heard Dirk. I'm like 100 positive. Maybe someone froze.
yeah,
Let me.
is the game frozen or something? Oh, I think Dirk got disconnected. I think we're hopefully going to get him back on here.
As long as one player stays, we'll be good.
I am back.
Okay. I guess you did
Need
you.
to
I guess you're
restart.
yeah. Restart arena.
Yep.
You should just send Adam a message to communicate that to him as well.
I'll send it to Adam. You can just focus.
Mm,
I got you.
Sounds good. Let's
yep.
get that done.
And I am deafening again.
Okay. Uh, just make sure you got to turn on his stream.
Let's see. Is he deafened? So I was laughing. We didn't realize Dirk was disconnected, but Adam didn't say it. But he hovered over the emotes and hovered over your go.
Oh no, no, no. Um, if Dirk's game is back up and running, he hasn't restarted his stream yet. So maybe you want to send him a message once he gets back into the game.
Oh, there you know.
He
Way
knows
ahead of you.
to
I
put
got
on
you.
he knows to put on his stream. Okay, perfect.
Oh yeah.
Everything's good then. We'll just wait a couple moments and should get this thing back rolling.
I mean, in the meantime, do you want to play the art game?
No, I'm good. I'm good. I'm looking at Adam's hand now. I see. Was that a finishing blow removal spell there?
Oh, yes, it is. It's been in there since about turn 4, turn 5.
And a Felidar. All right. Getting back on Dirk's side here is just getting back in the game. So
I'm
I
curious
guess
what the blues for.
one good thing about our format is that we don't play timed games. So if you do have a disconnect, it doesn't disadvantage you in any way. It just props you back right back into the exact board state of when you left. All right, well we got Dirk's turn back up and running here with that Timuret that was mentioned, and yeah, that Timuret stands in front of stuff here as a two
You should
five.
so cut out the Dirk relogging and just make it seem like Dirk was like really thinking, like it was like a really tense turn.
Oh, I don't edit videos.
So Adam drew the one in Griffin. It looks like he's just gonna slam it down right here. I'm curious what he does with the steed though. Like, do you just keep swinging with it, not crewing, which I like?
Yeah, so the problem now for Dirk is that these two mounts are just going to get a little too big for his board to be able to properly block because they're going to get counter from Miriam. So like this Timuret, in theory, could stand in front of the Fortune if it wouldn't get a counter on it when it attacked.
Oh yeah.
Okay, he's just going to play the bird here or the Griffin. Yeah,
Oh, I like this. Keep
looks
the
like
bird coming.
Adam has sort of gone for kind of a focused green white deck here. Not too much messing around with all sorts of colors. He's just playing a curve of creatures and mounts and protection spells and all the hits you expect from the green white deck with a couple cards from offset, obviously.
A little bit of a splash, you know. I'm still curious what the blue's here for. I
I
guess if we don't
guess
see it in game, we'll see it in the sideboard.
yeah, we'll see in sideboard what kind of surprise he's got here. Like I said, I do know some of Dirk splashes: Badlands Revival, Pillage the Bog, Rutstein, the Mantle of the Wolf. All right, a land here is no good for Dirk, but he can start churning now with the Timuret actually.
Yeah.
And the Karavek. So he can exile something with Timuret, cast something with Karavek. And he has 7 mana here, so he, I mean, he could even cast the Harvester of Misery if he wanted to, but it kills Miriam and the Llanowar Visionary.
Which would probably be pretty good on this board. Now, granted, that would cost him 5 mana, and he would just die in the air, right?
Yeah, he needs to kill this flyer.
Yeah. Granted, we both know Adam has a snakeskin veil, though. I guess he's going to try and deserts do it instead.
Yeah, he's gonna Desert Stew, and then the Desert Stew will still trigger the Karavek again, but it does lose you life. Karavek does come with a cost associated here. So he is going to be able to cast his Rutstein now.
So right here now, he can do the snakeskin veil on the stack. Now knowing that Dirk doesn't have access to redo
Now he's
deserts
tapped out, yeah.
do or the yeah, this
Yeah,
will be the game.
he's letting him tap out here. And that's actually just going to be it, yeah. Yeah, unfortunately. Well, he does have a reach creature there. Um, so he'll have to remove the reach creature.
The
The
long
longhorn
shot,
the
that is correct.
longhorn sharpshooter all the way on the far end is uh,
Well,
is
there is
able to
now a way to
stand.
get rid of it. There's
Oh,
a primal might drawn for turn.
well, that's going to be a lot of damage.
Just Adam with all the answers over here. I'm not biased at all. I didn't bet on Adam.
I didn't bet on anybody.
Smart man. This would have been a
Look,
wonderful week to stay out of the betting area because a lot of these games are some heavy hitters on both sides.
yeah, but I will say I am thinking about stepping into the stip match arena this week. I think it's up my alley. I kind of am not don't like didn't like the stip matches for the first couple weeks, and I don't really care that much for the ones that are potentially going to be coming. But I'm not giving up much, and I've been enjoying the duels that I've watched this week and looking at my pool. I, I'm not giving up enough to really be upset.
Yeah, I think the sit matches league are absolutely wonderful. You know, you can opt into them or opt out. So if you
Yeah.
think it might be better than the actual, rules of the league, by all means, step in, play some little side magic.
Oh yes. Oh, of course. The other green card in his deck that I forgot about was his Palani's Hatcher from
That's pretty
from
good.
Ixalan. Um, Yeah, so I mean, I think it's pretty clear. The more you give up to play in the stip match this week of no rares or mythics, the more wrong it is, and I'm not giving up much. So I may dip my toe in it. It's people have been talking it up, and I've been enjoying what I've been seeing. So maybe this is the right one for me, despite my dislike of stip matches in general.
Dip your toe and see how it feels. We did figure out what the blue cards Adam is running are though. So until he goes back to his sideboard, one is Oko, the 4 drop. I believe that's Oko the ringleader.
Okay,
The
yeah,
other one is Make Your Own Luck, and then he has the Duelist of the Mind. I believe
okay,
that's Stoyer.
yeah. Those cards don't. I mean, I think make your own luck is good in a deck that might run out of cards. The other ones don't necessarily strike me as cards I'd be going out of my way to splash. I mean, they're powerful, absolutely powerful. Just not sure how much I would go out of my way to splash. Like it was kind of what I was telling Dirk when we were looking at his deck. Like pillage the bog, great card. Do I want to splash it? Not
No.
sure. Not sure. Mantle of the Wolf, that aura that gives +4/+4. And then when the aura goes away, you get 2 wolves. I was like, I think the power of that is casting it on turn 4, right? Like that's the power of it. Like you play your 3 drop, some 3/2 or 2/2 or whatever, and then you just make it 6 or 7 power and go crazy. It's like later in the game, still good, but um, you know, I mean, look,
You know,
cards
I
are
agree. I'm
powerful.
never a fan of splashing 2 drops if it's not your main color and it's not like removal or impacting the game greatly.
I mean, Pillage the Bog is not a 2 drop, but the flexibility of
I
being
mean,
able to
Stoyer.
cast it on 2 when you have nothing else to do is good here. So
I
Dirk's
mean,
kept
Duelist of the
his
Mind himself.
yeah. So Dirk's kept his all removal hand here: Skullduggery, Explosive Derailment, and then for Midnight Hunt, Olivia's Midnight Ambush, which in this format I believe is just going to be a -2/-2.
Yeah, for the most part, unless you really dig and play your
If
day
you
and
can,
night creatures.
I don't think he has any. I'm actually, I'll actually say I'm certain he doesn't have any.
Well, for a while, this is going to be a little bit of a beating for Adam. The hand's
Yeah, what
extremely
has he got
slow.
going on? Yeah.
So it's two forests, a swamp, the Sterling Supplier, the Grizzly, Palpatine, aka Greenblade, make your own
Ooh.
luck, and then he drew the Felidar for the turn. So really nothing to interact with anything that Dirk is doing.
Yeah, so as I mentioned, Dirk kept an all removal hand, and he's drawn 2 creatures off the top here. So pretty fortuitous here. Dirk has once
Oh
again
yeah.
manually tapped to bluff the Snakeskin Veil that he most definitely does not even have in his deck. But yeah, so he's drawn 2 creatures here, which again, pretty good for him. And then Dirk can start picking off creatures with his removal. And the upside of that is that his Blood Hustler is going to grow. So here he can
So the
play
cool thing is,
his Midnight Ambush and then attack for 4.
yeah, Adam did draw Snakeskin for turn, so he's going to throw out the Grizzly first, and then toss out
Removal
the
bait.
correct. Now the weird thing though is there's only one of the deserts on the field. So in
No,
order to hold
it's not a
points,
desert. It's actually not a desert. He played it was a Gainland, Scoured Barrens.
there's not even a desert.
Nope, it is not. It is the reverse of the Ping Lands or Crime Lands. This is the Gainlands. So it's
Huh.
not a desert. It looks like a desert. That art particularly is just art of a desert, but as a
I
card
think it's a
type,
little
it
interesting.
doesn't
He
look.
decided to play out the Grizzly first, and then this guy. I guess if he was going to play the land though, all sums equal the same. So he's just trying to set up for a maker unlock.
He's just going to attack. Oh, attacking just with the Blood Hustler here. I mean, he does have Skullduggery in hand, so could have just
Well,
attacked both, but
I mean, more than likely he would just activate it, right?
yeah, but he could have attacked both and just used Skullduggery also. So his draw for the turn was another interesting offset card, Defossilize, which is that the uncommon from LCI where you bring one of your creatures back from the graveyard
Or
directly into
twice.
play, and you get to explore twice.
That's pretty good.
Yeah,
Would you rather play that or rack those joins up?
I think Defossilize looks better to me, but it depends how many legends I have, I suppose. All right, so I guess the veil is going to be shown here, and that's just something. Yeah, this is just the reality of the situation. Unfortunate here.
Yeah, I mean the good news is you said Dirk has one more piece of movement there, right? Skullduggery and
He's drawn a desert do also. Without any deserts, it's just a -2/-2. But
there's really
let's see.
no way to block this thing. Not profitably.
Yeah, if he blocks with a 5/5, it's going to get Desert Dude, or Skullduggery. And now he can draw his draw for the turn, and a card he sided in. I guess thinking Adam had a bunch of big green heavy hitters is this Heartless Pillage. So it was not in his main deck. Did side that in. Took out some of his Black Slant Buzzards. Just didn't seem like they were particularly well suited for the matchup. And he said, I'd rather take apart his hand if he's trying to play a long value game.
Yeah, this is probably not the worst case for Adam. Just get rid of like a supplier of the Felidar and a land. Play make your own luck next turn.
I mean, yeah, I mean, Mind Rots have never been the best, but the stronger the format is, the better a Mind Rot can be. The more likely you're getting two good cards, right?
Yeah, I mean that's 2 turns of not having to deal with something. He's gotten through here. I guess now he's thinking, does he play the Felidar or look like he's about to slam the Felidar down instead of play make your own luck?
All right, so we got the Beaver attacking in for 5, so and then Adam can either play the cat here. Yeah, this card when I first saw it, to me it had all the makings of like a card I wouldn't want to put in my deck. It's 6 mana. It doesn't do anything when it comes in. You have to attack with it, and it has to be saddled, and you have to have enough of a board to make use of the triggered ability of when it attacks. But I think the cards just turned out to be perfectly good. Like the effect is good enough that all those things, all those steps you have to go through make it worth it.
I mean, affecting the body, right? Like 4 attack is not that great for a 6 trap, but 7 on the butt is pretty big for most creatures this format.
Yeah, it's just I think the days of like 5 and 6 drops that don't do anything when they come in, and like that you have to untap and attack with them to do something. In the face of all the crazy cards we get nowadays, the days of colossal dreadmaws and things like that, kind of waning a bit.
Now,
But
question:
Dirk
If
can't really
Adam were,
attack here.
yeah, I was gonna say, if Adam were to throw all of his cards in front of Dirk, does Dirk have an answer for
I mean,
that?
he has a Desert Stew and a Skullduggery, but opponent has 15 toughness, so
Yeah.
it's going to be a bit hard to get through here. He's just doing this main phase here. Not sure. I guess because he wants to maybe cast the Skullduggery or Desert Stew on Adam's turn. He could actually block the Felidar with a Skullduggery now. So it makes sense. The Blood Hustler can only get one counter per turn, so he said, let me get it on my turn and then leave up an interactive spell and get another one on Adam's turn and hopefully get this 4/7 out of here because it's becoming problematic for him.
Yeah, I mean, I would really just like Adam just to pass the turn and just play make your own luck and just kind of dig for an answer for the Blood Hustler, right? Like, this thing's kind of an issue.
Hmm. Does he have any instants here? No?
No, I'm not
Okay.
a fan of this.
I mean, Dirk can sort of just test the waters here. He can just cast it before blocking and see if Adam gets any sort of priority. And I mean, Dirk's savvy enough player to see that priority just sort of pass right on through here.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I see my money going away.
I mean, when I see my opponent activate Blood Hustler on their turn and then pass with even 1 or 2 open mana, I have to figure they have some interactive spell, right? Why would they tap 4 mana on their own turn just like that, right? Like he did it so because it can only get one counter a turn. So he said like I'll tap to get the counter on my turn and interact on my opponent's turn. So to me it was I mean it's not clear what he had, but it was clear that there was something there. Are we picking up?
Yeah, and now,
Are we rebuying our unlimited power here?
I mean, he might, but this just gets so bad for him. So bad. If Dirk has any way to deal with the 4/7, there's really not much like more wiggle room he has. So he had to trash the town, the Pixie, and the Visionary you saw. Had he held back the 5/5, he could have always maybe tied that in with another spell to kind of get through.
Okay, so Adams did go for the value play here, which is life is getting a little low for value plays, but Dirk can pretty happily attack on in here with a Desert Stew,
Oh yeah.
or he can just actually do this. Yeah, okay, this works too.
Which I like. This forces your opponent now to block or pretty much go down, right?
No, he can block like this. He'll go to 1. Yeah, the attack with the 2/2 maybe wasn't amazing, but I think Adam's respecting another potential trick here.
This is just extremely punishing now.
And having an extra body would have just been really nice in the face of that
Oh
attack.
yeah.
Like having a 2/3 that just holds off this 2/2 from attacking. I mean, it's still bad. The 2/3 does end up going in front of the Blood Hustler, and Adam does get to untap with his 4/7. But yeah, Blood
It's not.
Hustler is a problem. Like we see it come out on
Yes.
turn 3, and it's defined the pace of this game.
You either have to try and get ahead of it before it gets this big, or you have to have some hardcore removal just to get rid of it off the field.
Yeah, I mean, and a lot of removal isn't going to hit it once it gets this big. Like a lot of the green
Yeah.
and red removal aren't going to do it. Like in blue, you get to bounce it. In blue, bouncing it always feels pretty good because I have to start over. And obviously, all the white and black removal that can kill it outright is good too.
If I were Adam, I might just take the ranch here, do an upkeep ranch, just to see if you can if he has removal in here, dig into it.
All right, so here comes the ranch. Yeah, this has been another really unassuming card that kind of just takes over in some games. Like I had a game where my opponent had it and they just won because they had the ranch. Like our boards were pretty even. It was going to late game. We were both more or less empty-handed, and they were just doing that every turn.
In 60 card, right? Any way to kind of churn through the deck, really good.
Yep, I just picked up one on my last loss, so looking forward to getting that in there. And I do have a bunch of mounts as well.
Are you gonna ranch it up?
I suppose so. All right, so Blood Hustler activation here.
I mean, any nutty draws off of Dirk changes this game like that. Harvester would be absolutely terrible for Adam right now.
So he still has the defossilized hand. I'm not sure there's any creatures in there. I mean, these are pretty much the only creatures he's drawn this game. But I mean, as you can see, he's just needed this. He's just needed the one.
Yeah. So I would guess you just put the 3/1 in front of it.
Well, you can't. You obviously can't triple block it because we have the activation here. So this is kind of what they call in old school Magic the Abyss, right? Like that was just like an enchantment that made an opponent sack a creature every turn. Yeah,
I'm
basically,
curious.
and any big lethal thing that doesn't have trample, you know, it's just basically your opponent has to sack a creature every turn to not die.
It's finally happened. Removal.
Okay.
Hardcore removal. Get out of here. He just drew a lasted by the law for turn. I'm surprised he's not windmilling it down.
Well, he doesn't want to seem too excited, you know. He's got to maintain his composure here. He's an experienced feature match player, right? He's been doing this for a while.
So I guess what you might do right here is, well, it looks like you might swing first before lassoing, which is probably fine regardless.
Well,
He
he
does
doesn't
have
have to be
trash the
scared. He doesn't
town.
have to be scared of a protection spell here, unless he still somehow puts his opponent on a snakeskin veil.
Yeah. Okay, I like this. Swing with the 2/2, so no matter what, you can win the combat. The 3/4 reliably blocks, and you have trash the town to draw some cards.
Yeah, I mean this works. He does need the cards. He has the mana. Let's see. The question is, does he want to spend an extra 2 mana to put counters on, or would he rather just draw the cards and have 2 extra mana to use?
It looks like he's using both modes. I'm not
Okay.
sure if this is his first time. Okay, he's going to put 2 on the 3/4. He was figuring out which way he wanted to trigger it.
Okay. Sure.
I guess he feels there's a stop in Dirk's hand, so doesn't want to get absolutely blown out here.
Yeah. Well, Dirk has priority from the Blood
Blood
Hustler.
Hustler. Yeah.
Also, Dirk has gone into full control on top of that, so
Oh, ho, ho.
he's doing it
Okay.
all.
We have a hand, and it's really good now. So you have Lasso, you have Leyline Biting, and he drew the Loyal Steed, so he can keep blinking the Visionary.
Okay, so yeah, and without anything going on Dirk's side, I mean, look, we're not we don't have to be expert analysts to figure out that drawing 2 creatures is not a viable strategy. Dirk's got two
No.
creatures this game, and I mean it got him this far, but it's not going to get him all the way, unfortunately.
Yeah, it was close. It was
Okay.
close.
Well, do we have another removal here for this big old demon that's coming down?
I mean, there might
He's
there
he
might be
has the
this
leyline
thing
binding,
from
right?
Dominaria United that gets cheaper for every land that you have. That's not the same.
That's not the same.
Well, unique colors, unique colors. Leyline binding.
I mean, I heard you could cast that for 1 mana on turn 2 in constructed, so I think it's one for every basic land type that you
Yes,
got.
yes, yes, yes. I
Not for
believe the
every
only
different type
thing
of
he
land.
is missing is red.
All right, well, he gets to cast it for very cheap 2 mana then.
Yes, this is going to be a really, really big turn.
Okay, Dirk is. I wonder if Dirk. Okay, no, he does want to get something in the graveyard for the defossilize. So I was thinking of chump blocking, even though obviously by life total he doesn't need to. I think just to get that explore 2 is going to be really big here now that he's fallen behind on cards and on board. Obviously, he still has the life advantage, but if you don't have enough cards or enough of a board, the life advantage
Oh,
isn't that important.
buddy, we have cards. We have cards.
Uh
There's
huh.
a Marauder and a Primal Might on top of the deck.
Is that a Hollow Marauder you speak of?
Oh yes, oh yes.
That's a black splash, I suppose.
Yep.
And what was the other
This
card?
the Primal Might.
Oh, geez. Okay. Well, this game's going to end very quickly in that case.
Yeah, he sequences the way I like. You put the Marauder on top and then the Primal Might right afterwards. So that's a perfectly good way to end the game.
Yeah. And if Dirk loses his defossilize, I think he's out of ways to do anything here. Yeah, Adam was without removal for the longest time, and it got him almost to the brink of death here, but he's climbing his way back out. This Longhorn Sharpshooter can get opponent to 2, but not to 0.
Yeah, I mean, I would assume the target would be the Visionary. You don't want your opponent all of a sudden getting extremely too far ahead, right?
Yeah, it's like I don't know what he can do at this point, especially with that draw. The thing is, the draws on his deck aren't going to be as powerful as a lot of the other decks. I mean, he still has a lot of good cards, but not too many things to pull him out of a situation that's becoming
Oh
this
my
dire.
God. He can blink the Marauder. That is disgusting. Who cares
Sure,
about the Visionary?
why not? Oh well, he's gonna say let me put 2 damage on you, and maybe I draw my other sharpshooter next turn. And he does have a second sharpshooter, so yeah, maybe he draws it. He gets a nice little cheeky win here, but he's gonna need something good off the top because this turn's gonna be a bit painful here, and
Yeah,
he's gonna lose his defossilize, which is
he's gonna lose
particularly
both cards
brutal.
in hand.
Well, he only has 1 card in hand here.
Does he? From
He
here, it
has
looks like he
the
has 2 cards in hand.
the sharpshooter is on plotted.
No. So I see the Sharpshooter. Maybe it's a visual bug because
Yeah,
I
it's a
see two
bug.
cards.
No,
Okay.
it's a bug. Arena, you're drunk. All right, so attack.
Adam doesn't really have to get too like cheeky or cute here because he has Primal Might. So Dirk is potentially on a 1 turn clock.
Yeah, he can primal might for X equals more than enough.
Now I wonder if Adam sees the same visual bug and he's going to say, "Wait a minute, what? Does he not have a card in hand?"
Well, he's just gonna draw a card. I mean, who could be
And
sad to draw a card?
Adam does have the triggers to stack the way he wants. I just watched him do it.
Okay.
Oh, now we have a take up the shield and a Miriam on top of the deck.
I mean, if he draws his other sharpshooter, Dirk, I
Yeah,
don't
it's just
know
kind of
if he has any other direct burn, but I know he has that. Let's see. What's on top of the deck, right? Yeah, so this game was looking good for Dirk with that Blood Hustler, but I mean, that, like, just drawing no other creatures. Like I said, when you draw 2 creatures, I mean, I guess now a third at the tail end here, it's going to be hard to win. Like, it's possible. It's possible to win. I only drawn 2 creatures, but it's going to be extraordinarily difficult. And he's drawn a
Sounds like it's not
swamp
a
here.
lightning helix.
No, I did not say "oh my god" in a high pitched shriek. So
Okay. Okay. As
he,
long as
he
Adam brings it home, my money is safe for a night. For a night.
he's drawn a swamp here. He's gonna not even play his Longhorn Sharpshooter. Not sure why, but here we are.
Yeah, I would think Adam just goes, saves up 2 mana, and just punches the 2/2 here. I mean, this is pretty decisive. Well, I guess the only thing he could be worried about is like a desert to do. But
Yeah,
outside of that,
we got the full control again. Just cause. I mean, look, you got to make your opponent at least work for it, right? Make your opponent pause and think and maybe play around something. I mean, nothing wrong with that.
yeah, I mean, like at the very least, you can never play like 100% safe, right? Like it does do the job of making someone think.
And some people will think their way potentially out of lethal once in a while, but it's going
Oh,
to be
100.
hard to go wrong here. All right. Well, Dirk, he came in hot, but looks like Adam is going to take this one down here, and Dirk is shooting all sorts of emotes back to Adam, acknowledging the situation here. Adam's still going to say, I'm gonna do everything correctly. I'm not just going to attack. I'm going to make sure I sequence everything properly.
You
And
never know with these full control players, right? You never know.
all right, so congratulations to Adam taking down the win here, and we'll be back in a little bit for our second match of the evening.